Number two, to be a fantastic trans ally, don't ask inappropriate curiosity questions.
That, especially for people who are close to the trans community, I feel like sometimes a line can be forgotten. So, like, when you're the bestest of allies and you're very close with one particular trans person and you're friends, so you make comments or jokes. That line of consent does not go beyond everyone. And if you run into a trans person like me, I will answer your question in gory detail. Like, I don't, because one aspect is like, I have no filter anyway. But part of it is like, I don't know if you're an egg or a trans person who is legitimately asking a question, or if you're a troll. And either way, I want to make sure real answers get out there. And so if you decide that you really want to know something about it, I will tell you, and I won't let you escape. But I'm super comfortable with that because that's just kind of my personality. There are absolutely trans people who are not okay with that. And it's why you see like content warnings and stuff talking about gender dysphoria and everything related to that. Is so if you're really, really curious, there are places to get answers, and generally the public sphere is not that, because you'll run into people like me.
I think you hit a valid point there. People assume that you want to tell them everything in graphic detail about you and your past and your journey and transition when you've had surgeries, etc. Like, I've been asked in, like, LinkedIn organized social business meetings if I've had the chop by someone who I don't even know, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, seriously, that's not inappropriate. That's not an appropriate question. I don't ask you what size you are. So like, why do you feel it's like okay to ask a stranger what they've got between their legs? It's just like, it absolutely astounds me. Like how do you respond?
It's almost as if people forget they're asking about genitals.
Yes.
Really? Would you do that? Like,
to a stranger?
And it's sometimes it almost feels like switch on your common sense. If someone's told you the name that they're using now, doesn't common sense tell you that you don't ask about a name they used 20 years ago? Why do you need to know?
Yeah, when you get into personal stuff like that, digging into the past lives, a lot of us live lives that we're kind of happy to be in the past. I mean, even beyond being trans, but if we wanted you to know, we would tell you.
I always flip it. I'll say, I'm not going to tell you what my old name was, but I'll tell you why I'm called Debbie, because then it turns into a positive.
Yeah, no, that's a really great idea.
That's a lovely thing.
When you have a very traditional Irish name like myself, especially in the United States, where the name, even Neve, is not common at all. That's it, basically to hijack it and take it back. But that's a thing that trans people can do to kind of reassume control over those things. It's not necessarily ally behavior shift. Maybe it's a good thing for allies to recognize when those kinds of signs are happening. Like, oh, I see that they're going into defense mode. And being like, hey, I get that you're acting in good faith. That's not a question you need to ask, even if you mean well.
And sometimes as well, I think people will say, but I just want to learn, I just want to be educated. And that's what both of you made the point, there are other ways to find this out. If you really are just curious, Wikipedia exists.
Right.
Trans people are not your walking Wikipedias.
So many people assume that we want to educate people about trans identities, bodies, surgeries because we're trans. So no.
No, I'm on the way to Greg's to get my lunch. Thank you very much.